You want to put your house on the market, but you don't know where to start. Today I'm going to give you 5 steps to get your home ready to sell. Hi, I'm Sylvester with RE/MAX Platinum, and today we're talking about getting your home ready to sell. We're going to go over 5 steps that every homeowner needs to follow to properly position yourself to get the highest amount of money in the lowest amount of time. The first step is to call your agent or get a referral for an agent as soon as you start to think about selling your property. Now, I get this question a ton. I'm not ready to put the house on the market, so I'm not going to call my agent until I'm actually ready to sell. And that is a very, very common misconception. In actuality, you want to call your agent as soon as possible. I want to get a call and be involved at the very beginning of the process because I'm going to help you get ready for that process going forward. And here's why. Because market conditions change, it's critical to know exactly what the seller's market is doing at that point in time and what types of things are important to buyers at that time so that you can position yourself properly. I often see homeowners getting ready to make repairs that will not help them sell for more or sell in a shorter amount of time, and all it will do is cost them more money in the long run. So once you contact an agent, have a good game plan together with a good punch list on the necessary items to make sure that you're on the right path. The second step is to start packing. I always tell my clients, pack as much as possible. You're leaving the house anyways. You might as well get a jump start on the packing. You want to pack as much as possible to depersonalize the house, not sterilize the house. One of the things I do when I meet with my clients is we go through the home and I will guide them and give them advice on what specifically they should and shouldn't pack. I've seen a lot of people go through and take every picture down, and now you're losing some of that hominess of a property that actually makes the property inviting to a buyer. You want to clear and open up as much counter space as possible, clearing off the kitchen counter, taking everything off the front of the fridge, clearing off the vanities in the bathrooms. I will include a link below for a checklist of all the things that should be done to get the house depersonalized and ready for sale. The third step on the list is inspections. Now, this is a hot topic here in Massachusetts, and it all revolves around Title V. Now, if you're in the city, if you're in the downtown district in Plymouth, the Title V doesn't apply to you. They're on town municipal septic systems, so they don't require a septic inspection. However, outside of those areas, you are on a private septic system, which means the state requires that the property be inspected by a licensed Title V inspector and have a passing certificate. Now, technically the law requires that to be done within 2 years of a deed transfer. The buyer's getting a mortgage, the lender will require that the Title V be inspected prior to closing. For that reason, I will always advise a homeowner getting a Title V inspection prior to the house going on the market. There's nothing worse than having a property that's under contract, a homeowner that's trying to juggle all the different things of getting ready to move, and then they have their Title V inspection in the middle of the contract period and they find out that it failed. Now it's an upset to the timeline and it's an unexpected expense because Title V repairs can be a couple $100 or they can be $25,000. So anywhere in between, and you don't know until you get a Title V inspection. So the number one thing you want to do is get a Title V inspection as soon as you decide that you're going to sell the property. Now, another inspection that is required by the state is an inspection by the fire department of the smoke detectors and CO detectors. Now, that inspection doesn't happen until a few weeks, 3 weeks before closing. The time frame for expiration is very short on those inspections. However, I always advise that homeowners check the smoke detectors. Make sure that they're in the proper location. Make sure that they're less than 10 years old. If it's a smoke detector, if it's a CO detector, less than 7 years old. Make sure you have numbers on the outside of your house. Position yourself so that when it comes time for that inspection, again, it's one less thing that you have to juggle and take care of before you get to closing. And then the last inspection, which depends on the property, is a general home inspection. Now, typically you think a general home inspection would be something that a buyer typically does when they purchase the property, but oftentimes home inspection companies will do seller inspections prior to the house going on the market. Now, why would you do this? This is a great opportunity for you to find out what the issues are in the house before the house even hits the market. Great leg up, especially in a buyer-favored market where the buyers have more leverage at the home inspection time period, to know exactly what issues might arise, and it'll give you the opportunity to get those issues repaired before it even hits the market. Now, the fourth thing that you need to take care of before you get the house ready to put on the market are repairs. Now, it's important to decide which repairs will net you the largest amount of gain, meaning the highest sales price at the lowest amount of time possible to sell the home. Not all repairs are equal. Some repairs do add to the value more than others. Now, I typically recommend that homeowners make minor repairs before getting the house on the market. A minor repair would be painting. Painting will actually increase your home value with the least amount of money spent, especially if you're doing it yourself. Painting the interiors, painting kitchen cabinets, painting the exterior. Now, every home is different, and whether you should or shouldn't make a repair is really up to your particular situation. This is where it's so important to consult with your agent. I will typically walk through the property with the homeowner and make suggestions on what items will net the most amount of money in the lowest time possible. Not all repairs are needed. Sometimes it does make sense to do minor repairs, such as painting, maybe replacing carpets, exterior or interior construction, minor construction work, rotted wood, and so forth. But sometimes it makes more sense to just price the home appropriately to reflect the major repairs. So, for example, if you need an entirely new kitchen, the kitchen is completely outdated and is functional, but just is very dated, hasn't been updated in 20, 30 years, typically I will recommend let's just adjust the price to reflect that outdated kitchen and not replace the kitchen. Kitchens and baths typically have the highest rate of return in terms of money spent versus the money that you recoup. It's important to remember that if you spend $30,000 on a kitchen repair, that does not add $30,000 to your cost or value of your home. Now, granted, if you're a contractor and you can get it done for less than what the normal consumer would pay, then it probably would make sense to make that repair. But most homeowners don't have access to those types of costs and will end up having to hire a professional to do those big repairs. And in the long run, typically it's not worth it. In the previous tip, I had mentioned getting a home inspection, and sometimes the home inspection will come back with a list of minor updates that you may need to address that might come up during a home inspection. Those minor repairs are definitely worth addressing. So in the fuse box, you might have double tapped breakers, which is not an expensive thing to remedy. You might find out that you have some issues up in the attic, maybe a minor mold issue or a minor leak or some rotted wood that you weren't aware of. Those items are definitely worth repairing, to avoid that issue when it comes time for the home inspection. So the last step is staging. Now, staging is typically done right before the house goes on the market. I will typically meet with the homeowner right before we do photography, pictures, and video. Once they're done with their repairs and packing and the stage is set for them to put the house on the market, and we'll do a walkthrough of the property and we'll look through a buyer's eyes to see if we need to make any tweaks. Sometimes we need to move furniture, maybe furniture from one room to another. Maybe we can take a piece of furniture out. Maybe we can move a table a different direction. Typically, they're small tweaks. Again, the whole idea is allowing the buyers to visualize themselves in the property to give it that staged home showroom look as much as possible. Now, in the case of an empty property, I typically use virtual staging. Now, virtual staging has come a long way over the last few years. The virtual staging company I use does a phenomenal job. They have different types of furniture that you can choose depending on what the decor is and the setting of the house. So those are the 5 steps for getting your home ready for sale. I've included a link for a free seller's guide giving you all the information about the local market and how you can prepare yourself in the best way possible to get your home sold at the highest price in the shortest amount of time. If you have any questions whatsoever, or if you'd like to schedule a time for a walkthrough, please call me anytime. Happy to help.